Alice Roper,
Yep.
episode 2.
Yep.
Thanks for coming back on. How are you?
I'm alright.
Yeah, good,
Yeah.
good. What you been up to?
Not much, to be honest.
Yeah? Oh, okay, nice. So, after we recorded the first episode, you sort of said there was more stuff you wanted to sort of delve into and talk more about to kind of help others out there. So whereas on the first episode you done, you got a really good response. The amount of people that sort of messaged me personally sort of said, "Oh my God, Alice done really well," or kids that sort of know us from the past. I've kind of got in touch and sort of said, "Alice has grown up so much. She's done really well, and sort of really well done to you for telling your story." So firstly, I want to say well done.
Thank you.
You've done really well. But you want to touch on more about sort of the abuse you received as a child, sort of before you went into care, or the reasons why you went into care, but then also during your time in care, how you was kind of involved in what the CSE world, or what we would call it, but it's really meaning child sexual exploitation. Yeah. Okay, so whenever you're ready, really just sort of tell us about, that stuff.
Okay. I'll go with the abuse first.
Yeah.
So, I got removed at the age of 3 from physical and sexual violence from he wasn't my dad, he's my brother's dad, but
So like a stepdad.
yeah. But I got it worse because I wasn't his child, if you know what I mean, and it was obvious I wasn't his child because I was mixed race.
Yeah.
So
That's right. So your brothers and sisters are white, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got it worse. So like, I never got told as like, I'd say a child, but then when I was a teenager, like social workers would tell me that I broke my nose a few times as a child, but not me. He broke my nose.
Yeah. What, did he hitting at you?
Yeah. And then he used to hold my head under the water and stuff like that, just like torture.
Yeah.
Horrible. And then I remember one thing I know from my childhood is I used to get told that I was left in a car seat and I couldn't walk and talk and stuff like that at the age of 3.
So that would sort of come down to like neglect, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Again, that helping you sort of develop physically, but then along with then that the physical abuse, hitting you, breaking your nose several times, holding you underwater. I actually work with a kid at the moment. He's part of the reason why he's in cage because his dad tried to drown him.
It's horrible.
Crazy. As a parent myself, I don't know how people can do this, but there's them kind of people out there, I suppose. So then, would you say sort of that physical abuse has played a part later on in life?
Yeah, I wouldn't say like I've received abuse, but I would say that I don't know, I kind of felt like what was wrong with me. Why? When I was innocent and I did nothing wrong, and do you know what I mean? Kids are innocent. Kids are born into a situation.
Yeah.
Kids are innocent. So to me, I don't understand why you put hands on me.
Yeah.
Because I was a child. I did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And then, like, one thing that I'd say has bothered me into becoming an adult is the fact that I feel like back in the day, nothing really happened to people that did anything to children, that hit children, sexually abused children. Like, the man that did it to me is still out there with my mum living a happy life. But then I've had to go and live through hell. Yeah,
of course. That's it. Because I think sometimes it isn't spoken about. Is it the sort of the internal scars it leaves on the abuse victims? If that makes sense.
And it's not like it was just one of us that's saying it. Like, I know for definite my sister said it.
Yeah.
So I know that there was a few people in the household that were saying what was going on, but my mum didn't believe it. No one seemed to believe it. It's just weird.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays, I feel like if something was to get brought up into someone's house, like convictions, social services, like they're on it now because of how many child deaths and stuff has happened.
Of course. I think now as well, there's a lot more awareness. There's a lot more. Children have a lot more power than they used to. Whereas they say now, kids can call Childline, sort of. They know to go to the teachers at school. They can go anywhere. Really. There's many different places. The police they can go to report sort of crime or abuse. Whereas back in the day, say me as a kid, we didn't really know about things like that, or you was told just sort of what happens at home stays at home.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Whereas you don't talk about our business and whatever happens behind these closed doors.
Happens behind this closed
Yeah,
doors.
yeah, and it kind of stays behind these closed doors. Because I think there's pros and cons to that. When there's abuse and stuff, definitely not. But I think I've always been quite a private person. Sometimes there is a bit of a space for our business, but then sometimes our business isn't good business.
Yeah, yeah.
Just what I mean?
Mm.
So yeah, wow, that's crazy. So was your brothers and sisters then getting physically abused?
Yeah, like all of us. Well, I don't. To be honest, because I was 3. I don't really know as much about what they went through, but I know that I definitely went through it.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know as much as my brothers because obviously that's their dad.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like he would have been
as bad.
Yeah, I feel like I got it most because I wasn't his child.
Yeah. Kind of like, without sounding sort of disrespectful, but like kind of like the black sheep of the family.
Yeah.
Literally, in a way.
That's how I've always felt.
Yeah.
Just the odd one out.
Oh, okay. So what about the sexual stuff?
It was just, I don't know. It's weird to explain. Like, it's horrible to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, as a child, you don't really understand it. But then when you get told as an adult, like certain things that was happening in the house, you think they're disgusting, man.
Yeah.
Like, how can a mum and dad expose their children to something like that? Like, that's just wrong, man.
Yeah. Because it's probably more so as well, just to sort of help you, if this was something to be helpful to you, is do you know you can sort of ask for your sort of file?
No.
So you can. That's your right. That is. You can sort of put in like I'm gonna call it a claim, but you can claim to look at your file and paperwork, and then that's gonna have all the documents and sort of things about you in terms of the history, why you was in care, what happened for you to go in care, and kind of like your story from birth till sort of probably leaving care, or until social services sort of stop sort of caring for you. So that could be something that could help you. You could sort of maybe potentially piece things together, but actually at the same time, if you're feeling like I'm good now, don't need that, that's in the past, and that's all boxed away, then maybe leave it as well.
No, I think it's something that I think that's one of the flaws in the system, is that they're not honest with the children about why they went into care.
Yeah.
From the get-go. Like, it was always mixed messages to me. It was you got hit, but then no one said about the sexual abuse. And then when I got older, I found out about the sexual abuse. And it makes you feel weird. It makes you feel like, why did no one tell me?
Yeah.
That I wasn't able to deal with that the way that I dealt with the other stuff.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, it just makes you feel nasty. I don't know. It's a weird experience. It just makes you feel like skin crawling. Like, it's not nice.
No, I get that. I think I would not defend the sort of the local authorities and stuff, but I think in terms of some things like that, from my experience working in the care sector, is you have to be sort of careful of what you're telling people, because let's say you as a 3-year-old, how do you tell a 3-year-old that was sexually abused?
Yeah.
So what I think we have to drip feed information. Once you get older, I can understand the sort of process and register things. Then it should be a case of we kind of say, let's say if I was your social worker or one of your carers, Alice, it'd be good for us to start attending this kind of therapy or counselling because of this. You're gonna be like, but why, Dad? Well, because remember, when this happened as a child, we need to sort of unlock and sort of deal with that kind of thing rather than coming out later in life and harming you for future relationships, future parent stuff. Do you know what I mean? Whereas, because we only parent how we know sometimes.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, then so you went into care, and then you kind of got involved in the CSE world, which is child sexual exploitation. Talk to me a little bit about that, please.
I think that came because I had, like most other children in care, have some sort of form of guidance still.
Yeah.
Whether that's if you're on a Section 20 and you still got your mum and dad that can give, put their input in, or if that's other family members, aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters. Like, I had no one. I had brothers and sisters, but I'd go to contact and one wouldn't turn up, and it was never consistent.
Yeah.
So I feel like I have like a weird relationship with my brothers and sisters. Like, I don't know, it's just weird. Like, none of us talk, but we all have each other on like social media and stuff.
Yeah.
None of us talk. It's just, I feel like I kind of distanced myself. I think once I found out everything that had happened in the family home, it makes you look at your brothers and sisters different,
Yeah.
and it makes you feel different about. I don't know. It's just weird, but yeah, I think I got into it because I had no one. I couldn't like, as much as yeah, you can say, oh yeah, you can trust the staff, you can trust these carers, you can't really, and you have to understand that for yourself. You have to go through it for yourself. You have to see certain things for yourself. And I've had carers that like speak about me, speak bad about me to other children and that, and then you get told. So then you think I don't trust you. So then you start looking for trust somewhere else. You start looking for someone to show you some attention somewhere else. Because I've had homes where they don't really bother with the foster children, and they bother with their own children. So then you're just left to the side. It's just constant feeling of rejection.
Yeah, I get that. So then, is that then where you sort of looking for kind of like a sense of belonging or kind of to be a part of something somewhere else?
Yeah.
Because let's also say then there's a kid in care, because the staff are there to help you, of course, and everything else, but then they go home and to their families, like I would, and still do. But then do you see it as there for the home rather than for me, if that makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, okay.
Like some staff, I could honestly say that it was just a job to them.
Yeah.
They didn't really go the extra mile for the children and stuff like that.
Which is true, and that does happen, and still happens. Okay, then so how did it become, whereas then you was then involved in the sort of the CSC stuff?
I ended up just like, I wasn't taught about life. I wasn't taught about like social media. So then when I hit like 14, I was on social media. I didn't know about not adding everyone that you don't know. And
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? No one taught
online
me
safety
about,
and things like that.
No one taught me about no online safety. So I was on there just accepting this person, that person. And then like my brothers and sisters would be on my Facebook and they'd be like, oh, who's this person commenting on your pictures?
Yeah.
And I'd think, like looking back on it now, I'm like, what? That was weird that you had random people commenting on your pictures. But back then, for me, it was some sort of validation. It was some sort of, oh, someone out there thinks you're pretty. Someone out there thinks you're nice. Someone out there likes you. When you're living in a home where you're being called fat, you're being called this, you're being called that, like you feel uncomfortable to ask for food. Like, remember I moved into a home and I lost loads of weight because there wasn't even fear. Like, I don't know what this care, like, she just had boundaries, and I feel like if I would have gone in the kitchen to try and get some food, like apart from dinner or like, questions would have been asked, like, oh, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There was never like put a fear in there, but there was a fear from me to go and get food.
Yeah.
So I remember we did like cooking in school, and she gave me the ingredients, and I was hungry because I didn't have nothing to eat. So I ended up eating it on my way home. But I was scared to tell her that I ate it on my way home, so I said to her that I dropped it. I remember she chased me up the stairs with a crutch.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like, I feel like when you don't feel comfortable in your home, you end up looking for it somewhere else. Especially as a child, because that's all the child needs.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you were talking, something popped into my head, but I'll bring that up after. And so it's probably more of a funny thing in a way, but then not so funny at the same time. So is that where sort of people sort of target you then would be online, sort of social media, things like that?
Yeah, like, oh, try and have a conversation with you, try and talk to you, and like make you feel good about yourself, and then it starts with they'll start asking questions about, oh, can you send me this picture? Can you send me that picture? And you don't want to do it, but then you feel like, oh, this person's not going to want to talk to me if I don't, and then I've got no one. So then you end up doing it, and then it gets like, you don't know what that person's doing with that picture.
Yeah, that's it. One then distributing it and sending it elsewhere.
Yeah.
Even trying to sell it.
And if you think about it, I was a child, so really and truly, that's child
pornography.
Yeah,
absolutely. And it's against the law now to sort of have it and distribute it. Yeah. So all right then. So you're on social media. You've got your mobile phone. You're in your bedroom alone at night. What kind of things would how would they go about sort of trying to sort of lure you in and groom you? So then that's what I've popped in my head. I remember coming to see you one of the evenings. You was in your room, and there was a man on the phone. I remember we used to sort of say, "Give me the phone and let me talk to him," or whatever would happen. And he was singing to you down the phone.
I don't even remember.
Yeah, yeah. I remember you used to talk. Then you would tell us it's your friend, but then I remember thinking it sounds like a grown man. But anyway, and then he'd be singing, sometimes in different languages, sometimes in English. And I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here? But again, we laugh about it now, but it's not really laughing matter. But then, what kind of strategies and techniques would they use to sort of lure you in to sort of say, oh, that's...
Like, with me, it was like offering to buy me gifts and things that I knew that I couldn't get from the care homes. And and I knew that I had a basic phone, and it was, I'll buy you a phone, or I'll buy you this, I'll buy you some clothes, I'll buy you some trainers. And for a child that hasn't had anything, you jump to that.
Yeah.
And you believe, you're gullible, you believe a lot of things. So I'll send me this one picture and then I'll get you a phone. But then you don't ever get the stuff that they say. But it's because it's a different, to me that's a different world. Like, I've never had anyone offer like, oh, I'll get you a phone, I'll do this, or...
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd always been handing me downs and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're clever. Child exploitation people, they're clever, because it will be different from different people, because they'll try and see where you're weak, where your weakness is. What do you need? What do you know what I mean? What does this person like? Do they like money? Do they like alcohol? What do I offer them to get what I want out of the situation?
So then so what you're saying is then it's kind of, it's targeted, and then you're targeted. So for example, Alice from the care home, she doesn't have much money, so let's start, or she wants nice trainers, so that's what we can offer her.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. Oh, okay. So it's not just random, it's more like specific.
Don't get me wrong, sometimes it would be random.
Yeah.
So they'd text you and then like they might not necessarily be into that, but then while you start talking, like you just kind of start talking and then it just starts. Like, it's weird. But then some people will, like, they're messed up in the head and they'll seek you out, like, they'll find you.
Oh, okay. All right, so then once you got chatting, I'll buy some trainers, give you some drink and drugs, and buy some clothes. I'll give you a new phone, and then you've sent a couple of pictures, and you've been chatting, and they said to you about what happens then.
Then it's like, oh, I want to meet you, blah blah blah. And as a young person, I remember if it would get to that stage, I would just block, delete, like I'm not meeting no one. But then there was like a few times where I would go out and meet people and like pressure you to have like sexual intercourse and things like that, and then when you say no, take the stuff back off you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it'd be a case of if you're not, would they sort of see it as then, well, I've promised you this, now you've got to give me this.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how would they sort of be then if you sort of said, no, I'm not having sex, I'm not giving?
There'd be anger, like it happened to me before where I said no, and then that man, the geezer, like I wasn't even drinking it. He bought it for some no reason, because I didn't want it.
Yeah.
And I remember I was sitting with my friend and we was just holding it, and the man got in the back of the car and like took the alcohol out of my hand and poured it on the floor, and I thought I wasn't even drinking it anyway. But that's just weird to me. And from there, I felt weird. I felt like, oh, so you only give me alcohol because you wanted me to do something with you.
Yeah. That's it as well, isn't it? Because then they can use things like alcohol and drugs, one, to sort of make your inhibitions go away.
Yeah.
Two, like anybody, once you've had a few drinks or a spliff or whatever it is, then you're a bit more
loose.
Loose and vulnerable and kind of, I suppose, easily swayed and whatnot, isn't it? Oh, okay. So then, all right then. So how long would you sort of say you was involved in sort of, we'll call it being groomed, or a target for sort of like CSE perpetrators?
I'd say from the age of about 14 to the age of about 17.
Yeah. Okay. Can you?
I'd say even when I still come back to Birmingham, I still had.
Yeah. So can you think of any times where like, you had any had some like difficult scrapes or sort of things where you sort of thought, wow, this is getting a bit freaky now, or a bit sort of crazy?
Yeah, I think I touched on it last time on my last podcast. I mentioned that we went to Selly Oak and some man pulled a knife out. that's because we wouldn't do nothing.
Yeah.
And it pulled the knife out on us. And I'm not gonna lie, that was where I was like, oh my god,
Yeah.
like, how am I gonna get out of this situation?
Yeah.
It's just us two in an empty car park with two men, and like there was the worst thing is we didn't even see the knife to start with. They was just being a bit aggressive, and then like one started walking towards us, and like he had a knife in his hand, and I remember thinking, what the hell?
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Because sometimes did you sort of, again, being sort of younger, more vulnerable, and again seeking that sort of acceptance and family and love and maybe even male attention, did you sort of go out thinking, oh, these are actually my friends?
Yeah.
And then you got to a point where you're seeing alcohol being poured away and the knives poured away. Did you find yourself even having sex with people when you didn't want to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you felt like you were kind of forced into it.
Yeah.
By things that they say and make you feel like, oh, but you said and blah blah blah, and but then no one ever thinks that you're allowed to say no.
Yeah.
At any time. Like,
Yeah.
You're allowed to say no.
Absolutely. Because we used to do something, well, when we used to talk to you and work with you back in the day, we would call that sort of what you're explaining as the boyfriend model. So, for example, I might message you on Instagram or whatever social media back then and sort of say, hey, we get talking. And I'm basically sort of saying that I love you and I'm going to buy you these gifts and kind of pretend to be a bit of a boyfriend. But then what will happen is then you'd get together with the person, you know, have a drink, have a smoke and give you gifts and have sex and do whatever else. But then it kind of then spirals into, now we've had sex or you've had sex with that person, you've then now got to have sex with my mate or their mate because you love that person, because you're their boyfriend. Do me a favour, I owe him a favour, and you give him a favour.
Yeah.
The things that ever happen or happen to you or you witness things like that.
No, I can't say that the friend thing ever happened to me.
Yeah.
But it was, I don't know. I just feel like it was all lies and it all smoke and mirrors. Like,
Yeah.
I remember getting my bursary once from college. I sent it all to the geezer.
Oh really?
Yeah. I remember thinking, like, even now I look back on it like that was a waste of money. Like, why would you even do that?
Yeah.
All because he was pressuring me for money.
Oh,
and I felt like I had to. So then when my money got sent, I sent it all straight to him. And then I had nothing left for a month for me when I was going to college.
Yeah. It's like anyone, we all make mistakes, don't we? But then you look back and sort of think, well, if I give all this money to him, how am I going to live now?
Yeah.
Again, goes back to, if you're not looking after yourself, you can't look after others.
Yeah.
So yeah, but again, it's just like, feels like it's a life lesson, isn't it? All right, so you've been involved in the CSE stuff where you've been exploited, and we'll call them scumbags if you like. These again, how old would these people be?
It would vary. Like, I was more like older teenagers. So like, I'd be like 14, they'd be like 17, 18.
Okay, yeah.
So like, they're older than me. They're more mature. Like, some of them would be in uni, be having a job. But they would, it's always older than me.
Yeah. Okay. And would you find, not to be stereotypical, of course, but then like, would it be also to break sort of stigmas? Would it be a lot of sort of people from certain cultures or backgrounds, or would it be a bit of everybody?
A bit of everybody.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because again,
I think every race and religion has got people in.
Yeah.
That will do it.
That's right. Yeah. Because again, obviously we was working in the industry and that kind of stuff, so we've seen it differently. But then the media leads you to think it's all the Muslims, isn't it? And the Muslim grooming gangs, and it was, the grooming gangs, and it was absolutely disgusting. But then statistically, at least at the time, it was white males.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then the media led us to believe, it was all Muslims when it was, at least not all Muslims, but then the Muslim grooming gangs, as they call them. But again, it was also, black lads or black men or whatever, and then white folk as well.
Yeah.
In terms of that, because again, so typically, you think of a man, don't you?
Yeah.
Was there any women involved in terms of like recruiting people and whatnot?
Yeah, there was when I was younger. I remember I was in town and the police came to me and I was chilling with this one girl and the police came to me because I was obviously reported missing, and they was ringing my phone and I was saying who I was with. I remember the police come over to me and found me in town and said, we need to speak to you. I remember they took me to the side, but I was like, oh, what? Why can't you say in front of my friend? And they were saying to me that basically she's a recruiter for a big sex trafficking kind of, and they literally said to me, if you don't get in the car, we're going to arrest you.
Yeah.
Because you're putting yourself at harm.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know what's going to happen to you at the end of the night. And to be honest, I was standing there with her and some older man that had just finished his shift at Big John's.
Wow.
So it was a bit weird.
Yeah, Big John's.
And from when they said that, I was looking, I was like, it's true, because every time I'd go out with her, we'd be with older males.
Yeah.
Picking me up, buying us drink, doing this, doing that, like on all-nighters, just driving around. Like, I don't know what the hell I was doing with my life.
Yeah. That's it, because I used to work with a girl, you might even know her. I obviously won't say her name. She was what we'd call a facilitator. So then she would recruit other girls who would then become victims.
Yeah.
But then there was a kind of, at least back then, would she be a victim or a sort of perpetrator?
Yeah.
And there was a bit of a debate about that, because in a way she was committing crimes. So she'd be sort of pulling girls like you in, sort of say, here, I've got a new one, take advantage of her, or do what is do.
But
what
then
is.
you also have to think, well, they're doing that to protect themselves from the situation they was in.
And that's what it come about,
they
really.
Could have been you.
Yeah.
Before that.
Yeah.
And they don't want to take the abuse no more, so they're going to find someone else to take that abuse.
Yeah. She's gone looking after herself, isn't she?
But then,
and that's her survival.
Like, I remember, like, being like, I think I was like 15, and they drove to like a casino, and they all went in and left me with some man in the car.
Yeah.
And he tried to get on top of me, and I started going mad. I remember, this is what I mean, it's another form of, like, they'll just drop you on the side of the road and say, see you later.
Yeah.
Find your own way home then.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's disgusting, to be honest, because then anyone could have picked me up and I could have been in another situation. But I think that's where you have to realise that these people aren't there for you. They're not there to look after you, because then she drove off with them then, and I was on the roadside by myself.
Yeah. And that's a.
And I was left by myself to try and kick him off me in the car. Like, it was horrible.
Yeah. And that's the part of the lesson, isn't it? If someone's messaged you on Instagram, on Facebook, on, I don't know, the social media is too much out there, but and you don't know them and they're promising you certain gifts and promising you certain things, actually be sort of very wary, because you don't know them, and do they actually care about you?
Yeah.
So probably for young kids out there, listen to your mum and dad. They do love you, care about you, and want the best for you.
Yeah.
And you've got children, I've got children, and then our kids are going to think to us at some point, you know, Mum don't know what she's talking about, or Dad don't know what he's talking about. But then, actually, we want the best for them.
Yeah, 100%.
Nothing but the best. Whereas these people outside, they want something from them.
And the saddest thing is, I can't speak for everyone, but I know for myself, it wasn't even more about the sexual stuff that I didn't want to do that. It was more about having people to be around and being included in a group.
Yeah.
Kind of. That was more what was wholesome for me. Like being able to go out and do what I wanted to do, but then that was the negative side of it, where you feel like pressured into doing things. You'd feel like you want to do it, but then you feel like, oh, these people are drop me on the side of the road, or they're going to take the things back off me that they've just given me, and it's just not nice. Yeah,
of course. So, how do you get out of all that? You know, what we call the CSC stuff. Or the CSC world.
You know what? It's hard to get out of it, especially if you did it, like you met these people on social media, because they know your name. They'll just follow you.
Yeah, of course.
You can make another account. You can delete that old account, and then it's still going to pop up on there, people you may know, or do you know what I mean? So it is hard to get out of it, but I think you have to remove yourself from the situation, and you have to try and. I think the worst thing that could have happened for me was when the care home was like trying to take your phone off you, and so it makes you want to do it more. Like, I want to talk to these people more. Like, why are you taking my phone off me?
Yeah.
But I'd say that it was one of the best things that could have happened, because like, I feel like adults were able to intervene in situations that I didn't see were bigger than me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they would read what was going on the phone, and I was able to get out of the situation with the staff. But I feel like it's embarrassing for a child to have a staff member see things like that. But but then you could have saved that child from being raped, or do you know what I mean?
And this was it. Because again, us as adults, and I call us normal people, and then yous would do our editing, but then ultimately we wanted yous not to be in them situations, to be safe, because we would know as adults you're going to regret this in terms of running away with these men and then getting raped and whatever kind of things happening to you. But again, sometimes and I think for anyone, if they're dead set on doing something, whether it's suicide, cheating, running away to be be vulnerable, if you're dead certain you're going to do it, there's not really anything I can do to stop that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I can lock you up for 3 months, but then as soon as that first day comes to you being out, you're gone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's a case of education. I think that is the key.
CSE needs to be educated to children from when they're young.
Yeah.
So forms of CSE, things that could happen, things that people could say to you, things that risky situations, and I think that there should be like a number or something where kids can call if they're in a situation and can say that I'm stuck.
Yeah.
I'm in a situation. I've been dropped at this place. I don't know where I am. I'm in the streets by myself. I don't want to call the police. I don't want to call the care home. But I need some support.
Yeah.
Like, things need to be put in place for children, because too many children are getting exploited. Like, you didn't really hear about much of it back in the day, but now it's a thing. Like, kids are more likely to do drugs nowadays and drink at a young age, whereas back in the day it was more niche.
Yeah.
Like, I remember staff at the care home being shocked that I'd never tried drugs till I was like 17, 18.
Yeah, that's true actually. You would drink, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I wouldn't. Yeah. I wasn't a drug taker.
Mm-hmm.
But then I feel like even in the care home, I feel like I got into like a weird situation with a certain someone.
Yeah.
Where I felt like I was like pressured into doing things that I shouldn't be doing.
Yeah, and that's it, isn't it? And that's where, again, is that where people sort of say, because they're victims of it, not even recruiters sometimes, but I don't want to be on my own.
Yeah.
So let me take you.
Yeah.
And then they will sell it as, come on, we're going to be fun. We're going to have a drink and, we'll be in a car. It's been nice and warm, or we're getting drove about, so it's cool. But really, these people just want to take advantage.
Literally. And I think children that have been exposed to like domestic abuse, coercive behaviour, coercive control, I think that they can end up portraying traits of that behaviour to other children.
Well, it's known, isn't it? It's known. Kind of abuse victims become abusers sometimes, not all the time, because that's not always the case. But then, statistically, that happens. Yeah, which is again is really sad, isn't it? Again, sometimes you parent how you've been parented, or sometimes you learn to know better, which is a crying shame. So then, all right. So what was the sort of the final thing where you sort of thought, right, nah, this is enough. I've had enough of this. I'm out. Or I'm going to do my best to get out.
That drug thing that I did.
Oh yeah, the drug smuggling. Yeah.
That's
yeah.
And I was like, no, can't do this. My life nearly went.
Yeah, so that would be a big smack in the face, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Thinking you're going to go to one, being caught, and then two, sort of thinking,
I'm going to prison for these people.
Yeah, getting locked up
for these people.
Yeah.
I didn't make nothing off it. I was pressured into doing something that I didn't want to do, and this is what I mean. It's pressure, peer pressure. A lot of people are easily influenced with peer pressure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's absolutely madness how people try to take advantage of young people and children.
But that's sad how it has to get to a situation like drug smuggling where someone will be like, oh, this situation's not right.
Yeah, because again, for us, sort of working with, let's say, there's mostly girls, wasn't it? The CSE girls. We would have conversations in team meetings and stuff, and sort of say, and I'll just say you, for example, how are we best going to keep Alice? Because keep Alice safe, because she's going to do certain stuff or certain things. And then we would even talk about, I don't even know if it's right or not, but then sort of educating you and sort of saying, if you're going to take a picture, don't put your face in it.
Yeah.
So what I mean then, because then that could be anyone's body.
Yeah.
Whereas, but when your face is in it, it's kind of like, that is you.
Yeah.
There's no hiding that.
Yeah.
Whereas,
I definitely think that certain things like that should be spoke about, because kids make mistakes, they put their face in it, and then it ends up circling their whole school, and then that then ruins that child's childhood.
Yeah.
Because then they don't want to go back to school.
And once it's out there forever.
Literally, you don't know what old man sitting in his house looking at that.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so how would you? I suppose we could talk about the other thing that's come about, or touch on it at least, since you've done my last podcast. But how do you think it would be best to prevent and help children, or future children, being involved in sort of being exploited?
I think that I don't even know, because it's always about the environment. I think kids need to be listened to more, like in care. If a child's saying to the social worker, "I'm not getting on here, like it's not working," like I don't know about it nowadays, but back in the day, you'd be kept there and be saying, "Oh, just work with it," like this is the right place for you, and it ends up traumatizing the child to the point where they don't know who to turn to. They don't know where to feel safe. They don't know where to feel comfortable. No, it's just, I think kids in care and stuff like that have been through so much already. They just need love. They just need to be, like, I think you have to assess the situation and think, is this child being loved? Like, are they getting everything that a child would need to feel safe at home and to feel that they wouldn't need to go and seek any attention anywhere else?
Yeah, so true. Because as soon as you said that, I was reflecting on sort of my experience working in the care sector, and there's quite a few kids would have sort of said, this just isn't the right place for me.
Yeah.
It isn't the right place for me.
Yeah.
Again, at work, people call me D. But then...
I think that happened to me. When I first moved in there, I was saying this isn't the right place for me. I'm in the middle of nowhere. Like, I don't know these people. Like, I was alright at the care home that I was at before, but I feel like, I don't know, it just wasn't the right place for me. And I remember saying to the social worker, it's not the right place. I remember saying sorry, because it was the only place that was available that had met my needs.
Yeah.
But I think a lot more people need to listen to the children more, man, because they know what they're talking about. It's their life.
Yeah.
They're living it.
That's it. And a kid, or let's say a 14, 15-year-old, isn't going to sort of say, hey, I'm being exploited, I need to be moved. They're going to communicate that in a different way by saying, this place isn't right for me.
Yeah, get me out.
And if we can't read between the lines sometimes, then are we sort of not helping? It's interesting.
Because then the child's then left in that situation to then seek other attention.
Or be a target, yeah. Because the kids I work with, I look back and reflect and think, yeah, they probably should have moved or should have gone, or so much should have happened. Whereas there's other kids where I think they say that because it's scary and it's new and it's thing, but they've gone to do really well.
Yeah.
So it swings and roundabouts, but yeah, there's definitely something in that. Really, really definitely something in that. That's so good. Oh, okay, wow, yeah. Kind of hit a good thing there, Alice. So, anything else then? Any advice or any advice for young people and children that sort of are kind of in the sort of CSC circles, or feel like they're getting approached by people that want to take advantage of it, or jump on their vulnerability? What advice would you give to children?
Please speak to whoever the adult is around you.
Yeah.
Don't do it. You might think it's the right thing to do at that moment, but let me tell you, it'll cause you damage in the long run. Don't do it. Because then you don't know who to trust. You go into relationships and thinking this is okay and it's not okay.
Yeah.
Like, nah, man, just don't do it. Speak to someone. Find anyone, even if it's a teacher, even if it's a doctor, even if it's a random person. Just find someone to speak to. Even if you have to. Like, there's I'm sure there's a few like companies where kids can like NSPCC and stuff like that. Was that the dog one, or is it the child one? The NS.
Oh, the NSPCC, yeah, that's the children's one. Yeah.
I didn't know.
Oh, SPCA.
Woof. But I'm sure that they do things like where you can like text, or like just there's places where you can reach out if you don't want to reach out to your carer, you don't want to reach out, even a friend's parents.
Yeah.
Just anywhere where you feel comfortable to speak to someone, speak to that person and tell them what you're going through, and they can help before you get into a situation where your pictures being passed around and you don't want to tell anyone because now you're in it, you're scared.
Yeah. I think it's really important to say then, if you are being sort of exploited like that, you can always call the police. It is a crime.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? For adults to be having sex with children.
It's not right.
Things like that.
That's one thing that we have to put out. It's not right for an adult to be speaking to a child.
Yeah.
It's not right. Like, you might think it's right in that moment, but, this person wants to talk to me, this person's got a job, this person's got this person's got that. All you have to think is, what does this old man want with me, and I'm a child?
Yeah. So true. Right, another question for you. What about parents that are sort of everyday Joe blogs, Trevor and Margaret, who have, they're kind of like old people names, but but like Trevor and Margaret, who they've got teenage daughters or teenage sons who are not involved in the care sector and they don't know anything about this kind of stuff. What advice would you give to parents for their children? Kind of what are signs to look out for?
Secluding themselves in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Not wanting you to go on their phone.
Yeah.
Like, if we're sitting here having dinner and the phone's turned like that way.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Silent. Your phone rings and the parent, who's that? And you go move away to talk on the phone.
Yeah.
Like, there's certain things that you... And I think as a parent, like, especially for me, I'm going to have my children's accounts and everything on my phone.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to check through that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you, and I want there to be an open relationship between us where you feel like you can talk to me. You have to make the child feel safe enough to feel like they can say to you that this is happening.
Yeah, absolutely. That's so important.
Because you have to think about it. This child's already come from stuff happening to them where they weren't necessarily able to speak, or do you know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of like where kids in care feel like they have to be quiet.
Yeah.
You can't talk about it.
Yeah. So true as well.
But scream it from the rooftops, and I think that parents just need to try and have that relationship with you. Not like, oh yeah, he's going out with his friends, let's just leave him. Like, no, you need to like have their location on your phone, know where they're going, know what they're doing, know, like, I don't know. I know that I would, when my kids are older, like, they're going to this place, I'll drive past to make sure you're there.
Yeah.
Like, make sure that it's all your friends around you and stuff like that. You just have to be cautious, and you just have to look out for the signs where the child's trying to isolate themselves.
Yeah.
Because that's usually where it happens, when they're isolating themselves.
Good. Yeah, it's so true. So true. I think since also what we're probably good to make a point of this, since our first podcast, you've been approached to not give evidence, what can we call it, share your experience again, to which is going to potentially help change policies around child sexual exploitation. So I think, again, your bravery for that is just sort of really good, isn't it? So,
do you know what it is? I think that this whole child exploitation thing, I think it's embarrassing for some people to talk about it, but I think it takes someone that's been through it to talk about it for things to get changed.
Yes.
Because it's like, I know that when I was younger, it was embarrassing to say, oh yeah, I've been sexually exploited.
Yeah.
But now as an adult, you have to scream it out to protect the other children.
Absolutely. Yeah. So true.
I couldn't imagine another child going through what I went through.
Yeah. So true. So true. And again, it's kind of kudos to you. It kind of just, I couldn't sort of praise you enough to say that. Because again, by you doing this podcast, this is now the second episode, and then doing what you're about to do in the future, is you are potentially saving lives. It might sound silly, but you are potentially saving lives.
And it makes me feel so good.
Yeah,
like,
educating
that
children.
makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I've given something back for the shit I went through.
Yeah. You're potentially saving lives, and you're also potentially stopping kids from getting, raped and things like that. Yeah. Which sounds, even coming out of my mouth, it sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
But it's actually the truth.
Yeah. And it needs to stop. Someone needs to protect the children, man.
Yeah.
Like, the children are innocent. They shouldn't have adult worries. They shouldn't have things like that to worry. They shouldn't be worrying about what they're going to do at school tomorrow and what they're going to do with their friends. And I think they shouldn't be worrying about, what's this man going to say to me? Or, do you know what I mean? Like, what's going to happen if I say no? Or, do you know? That's, children should be told you can say no. Like, that's a big thing, that children need to be told you can say no. You're well within your rights to say no. If you don't want to do that, say no. And that other person needs to respect that you said no.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there was that video that we used to watch in the care home, the teacup,
Teacup.
about consent and things like that.
Oh, tea.
Yeah.
If somebody wants tea,
Yeah.
make sure to say yes to
Yeah.
tea. If someone's asleep, they don't want tea.
Yeah.
That's a video actually I'd recommend people watching. Basically, the word tea is kind of used instead of the word sex.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's quite interesting. Good to show your children. I've done a harmful sexual behaviour course recently. I've seen it loads of times over the years, and it reminded me, and I have showed it my children.
Yeah.
And my partner, just so again, education is key.
Yeah, and I will be showing it to my children as well, because I got shown it, and it makes you understand that you can say no, you don't have to say yeah, and you could have said yes, but then at the last moment you can say no.
Yeah.
Even halfway through, you can say no, this isn't right for me, I don't want to do this.
Yeah. So I've done with my kids, and I obviously worked with kids in the past. There's something called Think You Know, which is, do you remember Think You Know?
Yeah.
So then, it's online sort of game, but then it kind of teaches you about relationships and CSC kind of stuff. Whereas you're playing the game, but then to pass the next stage, you got to ask a question. So for parents and stuff, look into things like that to help educate yourselves and children.
Yeah.
And I think there's different ages from different levels, and there's some even for parents on there. But,
I think it's, as you just said, a lot of parents need to start educating their children on the big bad world out here. Like, we can't just wrap the kids in cotton wool. You have to let them know that this is potentially things that could happen to you, and this is how we're going to deal with it, and this is how, if something like that was to happen to you, this is how you're going to get out of the situation. And you know what I mean? You can't leave your child to be in the situation and be like, oh my God, what's happening here? I've never taught about this. I was never told to say no. I was never... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to empower your children, say that, you know, you run your life. Like, if you say no, you say no.
Yeah.
And that person has to respect that.
And also talk to, again, you've already mentioned it, but talk to safe adults.
Anyone
teachers,
that you feel comfortable with.
Mom, dad, aunties, uncles.
Yeah, it might not even be your mum, it might be your cousin.
Yeah.
It might be your mum's friend that then can pass it on to your mum. And
yeah,
you might not feel comfortable telling your parents, but there's someone out there that will listen to you, that will always be there for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, anything else you want to finish up on?
No, that's all right.
Okay. So again, tradition on the podcast is I always ask the previous guest to ask a question for the next guest.
Yeah.
And I don't know how fitting or stuff this is, because the kind of podcast this one's been, but the last guest, the question for the next guest, which is you, Alice Roper, is, do you love yourself?
Now, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, back in the day, no. I think I was harming myself.
Yeah.
It was a form of self-harm, isn't it?
Yeah.
But now, definitely.
Okay, so what's happened for you to now love yourself?
I think it's because I've moved on. Like, I'm not who I was back in the day. Like, I feel like I've grown up. I feel like I've matured. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like I do love myself. I feel like back in the day I used to look at myself, as I said on the last podcast, I had identity issues. So I used to look at myself, not really know who I was. Like, I remember trying to make my skin darker with fake tan because I wanted to be more mixed race, because I didn't really look mixed race. So everyone would say to me, oh, no, you're white. And I no, I'm not. I'm mixed race, mate. Yeah. But, like, just identity issues that I went through. And, like, when I was younger, I remember I used to wear makeup every day.
Yeah.
Like, every day. Like, even just to come out to do education, I'm wearing makeup. I don't wear makeup anymore. Not unless, like, I'm going out somewhere. But, I don't know, I just learn to love the skin that you're in, innit? Yeah,
absolutely. And do you have a question for the next guest?
Yeah. If there's anything that you could change that's going on in the world right now, what would you change?
Ooh. Yeah. All right, and then that question to you, please.
For me, it would just probably be protect all the children.
Yeah.
Yeah, protect children and protect their childhood, innocence and things like that. That's what I would change. People that want to take a child's innocence away, I'll change that so that children can be innocent until they need to be innocent.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's so good. Anything else?
Probably just all the hatred in the world.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So true, yeah.
Yeah.
I think if I could change anything...
Races, religions, things like that, I would just change all the
Yeah. I think it's similar to me. I think if I could change one thing, it's just, a bit more peace, a bit more kindness, and just a little bit of that. I think you'd see massive changes in the world.
Yeah.
Rather than me hating you because you wear glasses, because you got long hair, you hate me because I got no hair. You saw even simple things like that, actually. Let me just actually embrace you wear glasses, you got long hair. You embrace me because I've got no hair. But you see what I mean? Rather than hating each other for something else, or what's different, or what's something you've got that I've not got, so I've got to hate you for it. But actually, if I have a conversation with you, actually, because you wear glasses, got long hair, doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Yeah.
Because you're tall or short or whatnot, or black or white or Muslim or Christian or Sikh or Buddhist or whatever it is, from this country or that country, doesn't matter.
We're all the same.
Yeah, doesn't matter. Okay, wicked. Thank you so much, Alice. Again, I think this is going to help loads of people.
Yeah.
Just want to say a big thank you to the Oak Tree pub in Rubery for allowing us to record here.
Yeah.
In a lovely outdoor setting. And just keep up the good work, keep up the good fight, and you're definitely helping people.
Thank
and
you.
I look forward to seeing and hearing about what you do in the future. Again, because I think you're on a path of helping many good future kids, whereas these policies changing and things like that, if it happens and when it happens. So yes, thank you and well done.
Yeah, man.